I want to be wealthy, but I spend all my money. You were created and given a slave, a doulos, a servant called your mind. Your mind is out of order when it questions your command.
If you are ready for true transformation, Bishop David G. Evans would like to bless you with the New Mind, New Me 4-message DVD set. Order today, and you will also receive Bishop Evans' national best-selling book, Healed Without Scars, as well as the Healed Without Scars music CD.
My mind's going where I tell it to go. It'll never go back. It's my mind. It's going to do what I say.
All yours when you visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480 today. Be prepared to watch a new you emerge. Adversaries come in many forms, but you will be victorious when you realize that worship is warfare.
Adversaries are necessary because without them, you never really discover your purpose.
We've accepted what somebody told us we were in our past. So our past is sabotaging our ability to hear instruction.
We are not much unlike a battery. The negative is the thing that's needed to produce the power.
I empowered you to overcome everything you've overcome up to this present moment. I fixed you for what's going to happen after this. You were in the mind of God long before you were ever born.
You are not alone in your battle. God has your back because worship is warfare. Put these 4 messages in your arsenal today on CD or DVD. Equip yourself by visiting our website or by calling 1-800-591-8480.
What if you could make one decision to unleash everything great in your life? Would you do it? Would you say yes? Aren't you tired of your relationships, your health, and so much more suffering because you lack the truth you need to change? The life you desire is within your reach. You can achieve all the success, happiness, and prosperity you deserve by simply learning the secrets that lead to real personal transformation. Change is hard, but not impossible. You just have to make one radical decision to get real. And there's no better authority on the real steps to change than David G. Evans.
Some men trust in chariots. Some men trust in horses. But we will trust in the Lord.
David G. Evans is leading the charge to bring you the power to change your life. He is committed to the mission of helping you transform and become a person of power, and it starts with his all-new system to change your situation. At the centerpiece of this life-altering collection is David Evans' groundbreaking training course, From Ridiculous to Radical to Real. This means war. In this series, you will discover the steps to change. This series includes 2 powerful messages, each on winning the battle in your mind and cultivating a language of faith. That's 4 messages, 4 power-filled hours of material. If you want a better marriage, this series has the answers. If you want to achieve financial independence God's way, the secrets in this series will empower you to make it happen. If you want a life of power, anointing, and influence, this series will show you how to get it, and there's more. You're looking for serious, immediate results. So Bishop Evans will also include one of his best-selling messages called Weapon of Warfare. This classic teaching will build you up to start fighting in the spirit for what you deserve. This powerhouse collection, From Ridiculous to Radical to Real and Weapon of Warfare, will give you all the biblical strategies you need to change anything in your life. This collection will ship to you immediately with your gift today to David G. Evans Ministries. This ministry is revolutionizing the kingdom by empowering believers. Souls are being saved daily, and we need your help to grow this impact in a real way. Call now and sow your seed of just $35 for your transformation to help people around the world. Your $35 love gift goes straight to the front lines of ministry, providing help to those that need it most. Call now. Make the decision to get the power you need to change your life forever.
Well, good morning, everybody. Praise the Lord. Welcome to On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on any smart device you might have at David G. Evans 1. That's at David G. Evans 1. You want to call us today. Our call-in numbers are 1-866-743-8267, 1-866-743-8267, 1-866-74 Evans. Give us a call. Why don't you share with someone? Let them know that On Point is on. Ask them to join us today for we always have great areas of discussion. We always have great points to make. But most of all, we love hearing from our listeners all over the world. Today, I want you to do something for me. When you call in, we always know where you're from because you tell us. But I want you to give a shout out to your church if you have one, to your pastor if you have one, so that we can greet them on the air. And we'd love to acknowledge those men and women of God who are working diligently, doing the job, getting the work done. Send out our condolences to my friend Bishop Clarence McClendon, whose mother passed away last week. But also, we need to pray for those that we know who are going through that same trauma. The end of a life that has nurtured them their entire lives, mothers, fathers, some sisters, some brothers, cousins, aunts, just relatives in general. We want to pray for those families and ask God the promised compassion that he has in his possession, that he'll do what he said he's going to do, and he will do it, and that's release his compassion in endless quantities. Also joining me this morning, #1 executive pastor on the entire planet, Reverend Nicholas A. Smith.
Oh, thank you. Good morning, sir.
Hey, man.
How you doing?
Toy drive's happening this
Yes,
morning,
sir.
right?
10 o'clock at Lindenwald High School.
10 o'clock, Lindenwald High School.
Yes, sir.
We expect for it to last about how long?
This one usually is 10, usually done by like noon, 1 o'clock.
2 hours?
Yeah, because we have to organize a little, because of the way the room is set up.
Okay.
So we got to take our time.
Getting them through.
Yeah. Or it's going to be mass chaos.
I understand.
Yeah. It's good.
So we're making sure.
Yeah.
We got our toy giveaway today. You know, we just came out of our Thanksgiving and homeless supplies giveaway. Thousands were reached, and we thank God for that, but also for the volunteers. And once again, our volunteers have stepped up to the table and are preparing to bless some children, a family with the gifts they would need to help enhance the holiday experience. We can't, of course, be fair to everyone and complete the holiday experience, but we want to add something positive to each child that we're able to serve this year. And it always adds up to about a couple thousand kids. So we're excited about what the Lord is allowing us to do this morning.
Yeah.
So join us today, 1-866-743-8267, 1-866-74 Evans. Give us a call. I understand the homegoing of Reverend Wack is this morning.
Yes.
In Camden.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first preachers that allowed me to come preach at his church when I was an associate.
Okay.
Gospel Temple, I believe, was
right
the
on
church.
the corner in Camden.
Yeah. So his homegoing is today. A lot going on this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Democrats have made a mistake.
Okay.
I think that they're not going to convince anybody with one or two proven accusations. I think they needed to lay the multiplicity so people could see the vastness of it. Because one or two things you can deny. 6 or 7 pieces of evidence you cannot deny.
Right.
And the Republicans who I really need to talk to some of my friends that are Republicans now, because I need to know, when did my friends decide, at what point did they decide that the truth was no longer relevant, that their Christian principles no longer mattered, and that they would blindly follow someone who they know will throw them under the train, not the bus, under the train, in order to preserve himself. I mean, he's even it looks like he was actually indicating that he would distance himself from Giuliani, who's going all around the country, and Giuliani has to kind of say, I got to get out of jail card here that I can use at any time. In other words, you don't want to do that.
Right. Well, I mean, power
Yeah,
is seductive.
absolutely,
Influence is seductive.
absolutely.
And if Trump is coming to validate my view of Christianity, then I'm all in.
But is it the view
'Cause-
that they have historically asserted?
Yes, that's the thing. It's the view they've always had.
Publicly asserted? Because it sounds different
No,
than it used to.
it's more here. I think the difference is this. It's more public. It was always private.
Okay,
It's more public now.
yeah.
And Trump gives them a public voice, which then gives them the courage to say something.
And now here's my point.
Mhm.
When these people go back to their churches and he's no longer in office, they flip back to where they were, and all of a sudden they're moral and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah.
But to them, they're being moral now.
You actually think they think that?
Well,
You don't think that they know that they're making fools out of themselves?
yeah, I don't think they see it that way. Like, look at Jeffries from Dallas,
Yeah.
right? His church, for the most part, nice sized church,
Beautiful church.
beautiful church, huge. Most of his people that go there agree with him, so he's going to go back into his bubble, and he's going to be okay.
He'll have his crowd.
Yeah, he'll have his crowd.
So they are no longer overly concerned about their national reputations anymore?
But see, to them, it's like before we talked about how we saw the picture with the Klan and it had a picture that said Jesus saves on there.
Yeah.
And because their view, they mix God, guns, faith, America all in one thing. And God established this view, this type of America. And it needs to be maintained. And Obama came to mess it up. So their vitriol started to increase
All right,
more.
and I don't want to cause any trouble, but that's not biblical.
Yes.
So how do the biblical folk no longer think it's important to be biblical?
But to them,
And threw it up in everybody else's face when it was time.
to them, they're being biblical. This is where the logic, you're trying to find the logic of it, and this really is no clear logic.
I've said for years the racial vote is not logic.
It's
not logical. It'll never be logical.
right.
What has happened is, what distresses me, and I know we've said it before, I had hoped that America in private
Yep.
had progressed past where we are right now.
Yeah.
America in private has not necessarily changed that much.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. And the one good, but also I think the one bad is that their view, to me, their reaction is an overreaction to Obama. Right?
Okay.
That particular crowd.
Okay.
Because when he came in, he was changing America. He was,
But he represents nothing that they far previously hated that Mr. Trump represents.
I know. The good part is that you have a new growing base that is going to counter that. But my dilemma is that the right went far right.
Right.
Now the left is going far left.
Right.
So now you have these polar sides now. And you got most of the people that in the country are in the middle.
Which is going to force people once again to choose the lesser of two evils
you go.
rather than a preference.
There you go. Because you already got people on the left. Well, if this person doesn't represent us, then I'm not voting at all. Which is why I think Trump's going to win again.
Well, I happen to think that American consciousness learned a lesson from that because I believe she would have had different evils,
Yeah.
but not the ones we're dealing with
Absolutely.
now. Okay, so I at the end of the day, if I hated Mrs. Clinton, which I don't, I don't hate President Trump. At the end of the day, I believe she would have made a better president.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
I totally agree with you.
Okay.
I think that, but from their perspective, they're so entrenched in being in their view that Trump comes to validate their view.
But their view is a divided America.
Yes, but to them, their view is not divisive.
What is it?
This is the way it's supposed to be, and y'all all get in line.
Because the way we see it is divided.
But we see it as divided.
They do too.
But they're looking at like this is the right way no matter what. So you got to get in line.
Where's Jesus in it?
Well, to them, Jesus is all in it because no abortion, right?
So okay. So
I'm just trying to explain what they say.
There's no abortion, but is pornography suddenly okay with them?
Well, no, pornography is wrong.
Then why is a man in the office that they're supporting having relationships with porn stars, but he's okay?
Now, in their mind,
I'm just asking.
No, these are valid questions.
I need our listeners to hear. Look, I'm asking the questions. Many people are not asking.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get.
No, you're right.
We're talking about it like this so you guys can get in on it.
People ask the questions, but their view is. I heard one person say,
"But you get a pivot answer." I'm trying to give. The down and dirty answer.
I've heard somebody say, "Well, Trump is a babe in Christ. That's who he was before.
Okay.
He's gotten saved, and now he's learning the Christian ways. That was 2 years ago.
Okay.
Those things are before he was president. Now he's a friend of the Christian community.
He's friend of what Christian community?
to that community.
The community that believes that all you got to do is get saved.
Yes.
And everything else after that doesn't matter.
Yes, we just go to heaven and,
God's going to fix everything in heaven.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be an image and likeness down here.
Right.
So that image and likeness thing ain't working no more for them.
Well, again, it depends on your view of image and likeness.
So image and likeness is, in their mind, is divisive and prejudicial and separating children from their families and not, watch this, not doing what Jesus said, when you did it to them, you did it to me. That whole piece is wiped out of the New Testament.
Well, this is the view. I'm just explaining things that I've heard.
Okay, because I've heard them too. So I'm putting them out there for discussion because these questions are usually pivoted by people that are supporting this nonsense.
Right. So when you bring up the whole,
and I don't like the seasonal stuff.
Right.
That's my problem with the seasonal stuff.
I agree.
Since he's going to compare everything he does to the genius we had in office before, and they want to give him a pass for being a babe in Christ. So the porn stars. The 16 or 18 white women that said he molested them or inappropriately touched them, the stuff we have him on tape, the things he said on tape about China, I need you to investigate my opponent. I mean, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It is nothing.
But
it would have been something.
Yeah.
For the previous president.
Now here's some it's crazy logic.
Okay.
But the justification is
that an oxymoron, crazy logic? Go ahead.
Yeah. to me, it's their crazy logic. It's Obama had his flaws, and y'all accepted him. Trump has his flaws, so we don't like everything. But overall,
we're talking the difference between smoking a cigarette, having a bracket during the NCAAs, and wearing a beige suit, versus somebody grabbing people's crotches. And I'm still saying it, 3 baby mamas on the national stage with the transitional women on the stage at the same time. The only one that wasn't transitional was Ivanka's mother. All the transitional women on stage. And that's perfect for these people that say.
Well, he's it's like this.
The difference in the babeness is too vast.
Right. No.
From I'm Jesus, I'm the chosen one, to I smoke cigarettes.
Yeah. Well,
they can't see the difference in that.
Yeah. Let's look at it like this too.
Okay.
So,
anybody ever seen him go to church? Ever?
When he has to.
Yeah.
To a funeral.
That's right. When he has to.
Yeah.
And some of them he doesn't go to.
I know. Let's look at it like this. I attended one of those churches.
He was spending $30 million a month to go on vacation every month.
I know.
Would they have a problem?
I know.
Would President Obama have a problem if he's spending $30 million of American taxpayers' money just to go play golf?
Absolutely.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Their mind is, well, the economy's growing, so it's okay
for whom?
That's the thing. For who? And it was growing under Obama, too.
But they don't want to admit that.
They don't want to admit that. Because, again, he's coming to validate their views. But if you grew up in something, and this is all you were taught growing up, was this view of Christianity, this view of superior whiteness, this view of this, and you're surrounded by that bubble all your life, you're going to become a grown individual who, for the most part, will look at the world through that viewpoint.
Okay, so you're telling me that the generational hypocrisy, who they now have had the courage to reveal,
Mm-hmm.
has always been there.
Yes.
Which means they've been lying to us the
whole
entire time.
Yes.
Okay.
There was always that. Like I told you one time, I went to one of those churches. Remember the church you went to in Indiana?
Yes.
One of those type of churches.
Yes.
One of those type of churches.
Yes, we went
were
for a conference.
For a conference, yes.
Yes.
We went to one of those independent Baptist churches.
Yes, sir.
I
I can't remember the name of it.
I know the guy's name. Though.
People say our name all the time. What do you mean?
The
Don't
guy
say
Jack
that.
Howe's church.
Yeah, because Vines was there.
Yeah. What is that?
Okay.
But you know. But
That
yeah,
was a very eye-opening experience.
very. Now imagine that viewpoint spread across the South.
Got it.
There's one locally to here.
Really?
It's literally about 5 or 10 minutes from this church that I went to one time when we were younger. My mom sent us there for Sunday school one
Okay.
time. There you go. Yep. Down the street from here.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there was always this separate nature.
Well, we felt it when we were in Indiana.
Yeah.
It was clear.
Mm-hmm. And they're staunch in that viewpoint.
But here's the thing that got me. The hypocrisy of it was, at that time, that church, they had a Hispanic church in that church.
Mm-hmm.
And, but we can talk about the church that we visited in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Very historic church, where, we took our full staff with us, which had representation of all ethnicities at that time and genders.
Mm-hmm.
And we were told to our face, we want you in our school, but we don't want you in our church.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that our Caucasian staff member was going to lose his head from embarrassment because he thought this church was the cat's meow as far as going to show us something. And his children, married to a black woman, would not even be welcome in the church.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted the tuition, but they didn't want the offering.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But so that thought process spread out. And then you have
It existed.
It existed.
I don't think it spread.
I mean, it's there. And what I mean by spread out is like the countrywide. You
Yeah.
have those, especially in the South, it's huge. And then you have the people that reinforce that. So in every oppressed group, you have people that reinforce the message of the oppressor.
All right, now help me with this.
Yes.
When did women,
Mm-hmm.
and in this case for this discussion, white women, become okay with inappropriateness coming from men?
Mm-hmm. But again, it depends on what you're reared in.
You're telling me they're reared that a strange man can walk up, run his hand up your dress, and you need to know it's okay?
Well, it's not considered okay. So, for instance, when you boys being boys, when you look at purity culture, right? What they teach down in those
But
segments.
if a black man ran his hand up their dress, would that be a problem?
That's what I'm saying.
that boys being boys too?
But see, that's what I'm saying. That's
I'm
where-
asking all the stuff I need
I
to
know.
ask.
That's
Okay.
where the difference comes in. So they're taught you dress modestly, because if you don't dress modestly, a man will basically either touch you, do something to you, and it's your fault because of the way that you dressed.
Okay.
And when you're reared in that, that's your thought process.
Right.
Never mind. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. You.
Sound effects.
Never mind.
The band's not playing in the
Right.
background.
Never mind. You're basically reducing a man down to his urges, saying that he can't control himself.
Okay.
If he sees a woman in a bikini, he can't help but just jump on her, and it's her fault. Almost like the men that are teaching this are basically admitting that we're savages. They don't think about it like that.
Okay.
But there's this oppression.
So there's an acceptance taught to some part of the culture.
Yes. That it's you have to be right, you have to
How
the women,
does
and they reinforce that.
How does a dad teach his daughter that if ever a guy's inappropriate, it's probably her fault?
Yeah. And they teach them that.
How does a dad teach his child that? So
Dad
there's
was that guy.
so
Sure, right, probably was, yeah.
So their gender prejudice seeps down into their own families.
Yes. Yep. That and then the women come to reinforce it because they end up teaching the same thing. So they reduce themselves down to a woman. She actually believes this stuff. Was like, it's not good for women to lead. It's better for men to lead because women are more emotional, men are more logical. They can make better decisions than women. And a woman says this. So it goes back to the house slave, the field slave.
Right.
That as long as I'm in the house, at
Right.
least I'm not outside. So It's like Django. What's the guy's name in Django that Samuel Jackson played?
Okay.
I'm going to keep reinforcing
Right.
this thing. So in every oppressed group, there's a reinforcer
Okay.
of what the oppressor's teaching.
Right.
So that's why you have these women that make this stuff. They know it's wrong, but it's what they're reared in. I'm not saying that they're victims of it because they can change their thoughts.
How did the Republican Party go so far from being the party of liberation to where they are now? I find the transition, and here's what bothers me about politics.
Mm-hmm.
We have you on tape passionately
Mm-hmm.
articulating a position
Mm-hmm.
that is the total opposite to the one you're articulating now.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind. They got tape of these guys saying the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Clinton was in office, kill him.
Yep.
Trump, and Clinton, as far as we know, went out, got impeached for one infraction of
Yeah.
one thing.
And that technically didn't hurt the country.
Not at all.
What he did didn't bother, it didn't affect my life in any way, shape, or form.
You didn't feel it.
That's him and his wife and his kids.
That's not what he was impeached. It was for lying.
But it was lying about a blowjob.
Yeah, right.
But
Like,
he said he lied. You can't lie. You can't lie.
You can't lie?
No, you can't. But they let it happen now. But you're not supposed to.
again, about something that had no
Right,
effect
right.
on the general public.
Right. Same like if you were to go to court and lie under oath, you go to jail.
I tell you this.
Trump lies every 3 seconds.
If
It does. But
we
he-
decided not to show up for a subpoena, do you think we'd still be walking
Oh
around?
no, we'd be locked up. A warrant come out real quick.
This thing has become so lawless, it is incredible.
Who
Absolutely.
determines what?
Absolutely.
I've said it for years.
Yep. Yeah. And they allow that to keep going because it keeps reinforcing that what they want. So they'll let Trump get all the passes in the world as long as he brings back what they want.
When is it going to erupt in their faces? It has to.
My fear is that there's going to be a wave of
Liberalism?
over the top liberalism
It's coming.
that's going to take over, and we're going to go the complete opposite way.
When have you seen, when have you seen an election of a president that was not a reaction to the previous one?
It always, for the most part, is.
It's a north-south,
Yeah.
east-west reaction every time.
And it's going to be, and then those people in the center, again, going to be left hanging.
That's
out there.
why Mrs. Clinton was not an option, viable, to be elected president this time. Because not only did they not want another brown face, they certainly didn't want, in their minds, politically, the closest thing to a brown face is a female to occupy the office. So we're going to go all the way over this way and take whatever it is as long as he looks like us.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's amazing
And
to
comes
me.
out and says,
What I'm thinking and
what I'm
feeling.
thinking.
Yep.
I'm telling you, you read that book, The Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah.
It explains this thought process so good.
Okay.
When you read it, I mean, it allows you
It's
to
an
make
aha.
sense of that moment.
Okay.
You actually feel like you're reading about somebody in the hood. It's just the color's different.
Okay.
But the reasoning is different. So in the hood, it's the people's fault.
Right.
If it happens in rural America, it's the government's fault.
Absolutely.
Drugs, violence, which you're seeing a lot of.
All in,
In
this,
rural white America.
in each environment.
You feel like you're reading about the hood, but America left us versus these folks are too savage to be anything better.
Rehabilitated.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so Trump's got to turn over his financial records.
Well, he's going to try to. The Supreme Court's going to rule on that to see. He took it to the highest court.
Well, here's the problem. I think the New York Southern District has him already.
Okay.
They're waiting for him to come out of office. The Democrats just can't get him. But the few brilliant moments that were left in Mueller, because the guy we saw testifying was not the guy they thought they had leading this thing up. The guy we saw testifying was a guy that had basically, we see old tapes of him. He had lost it by this time. He didn't have that sharpness that he was known for. He couldn't articulate his thoughts well. He stumbled a lot. That wasn't the Mueller that they thought they were getting. So he actually was leading that thing based on his reputation or on the fact, because the president didn't oppose him, or on the fact that they knew that he was not as sharp as he used to be.
It was interesting. He said from the door, we're going to look at this thing. He said, but it's not up to me to That's up to Congress.
I think he intended to pass stuff off
Yeah.
to New York and Virginia because he knew the effect. Because if our president was going to drain the swamp, he just didn't tell us it was the swamp he brought with him.
Exactly. Right. Mm-hmm.
He's got too many people around him going to jail
Mm-hmm.
for reasons.
For reasons, yep.
And he's not bailed them out yet.
Nope. They're still locked up. Still.
I'm supposed to be your boy.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, you know, something.
Eventually.
Yeah.
No, you better get me out of here now. You the president of the United States? You better move me now.
Yeah. And he probably could pardon them. His folk will still be okay with it.
Why isn't he doing it?
Which is weird, because if me and you rolling this something together, right? It would be to your advantage to be like, yo, if I gotta stay in jail, I got you.
Unless you
Or
have,
I'm gonna get you out. And
you ever notice in pictures his hands are always so ashy and dry? It's because he's always cleaning them. He's always sanitizing them. He's got this germ thing.
okay.
So he's a germaphobe.
Yeah, so he doesn't like getting stuff on him. And if you've messed up,
Yeah.
he doesn't want any of your dirt on him.
Yeah.
So he keeps his hand clean. He's like Pilate.
Mm-hmm.
I wash my hands of the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
Even though I'm the one that laid down the decision for you to go get crucified.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. What's the insanity of the people around him is this. They're watching him discard people
Yeah.
that have done what he wanted them to do.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And they're still lining up to do what he wants them to do.
Yeah.
Rudy.
Oh, Rudy's gonna protect himself.
Rudy walked in the front door of the White House as soon as he got off the plane from the UK.
Right. Yep. Yep. Oh, can we say something real quick?
Go ahead.
To those that are watching on the David G. Evans site,
Yeah.
some of you are having some problems with buffering. Go watch it on the Bethany site. Search BBC of NJ because David G. Evans site is buffering and the sound is going in and out. The Facebook page, yes.
Facebook page is buffering.
Yeah.
It's Facebook though, because
Yeah.
the stream is good on YouTube and Twitter.
Yeah.
So Facebook
So-
is having the issue.
Because some people on the BBC page said are fine. So go if you're having issues with the
Facebook.
Facebook, go to YouTube, David G. Evans 1, or on Periscope, David G. Evans 1. You can watch it from there. All right?
Both of them? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we stream on all of it. Yeah.
Good. So
Yeah.
the appeals court can rule all they want.
Mm-hmm.
New York already has this stuff.
Yep.
Now, I thought of someone this morning. The treasurer of the Trump organization has been very quiet
Mm-hmm.
since they cut his deal.
Yeah.
Now, my experience with the federal government is when they're not talking,
Yeah.
that's when you need to worry.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they're working and compiling stuff. I wonder now what New York has this guy talking about.
Yeah. Oh, because that's the same group where he did took the $2 million from the
Oh yeah, he's been ripping off
from the military
nonprofits. Yeah, he been
yeah.
just terrible.
Yeah.
But all that's acceptable under him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. To them, yeah. Again, as long as he's giving them what they want.
But they're not getting what they want. Here's my problem. Now I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I'm starting to understand that the American people, when they talk about him, doesn't include me.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that gets me.
Right.
So now they're saying the economy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't measure my financial success by how well stocks and bonds are doing.
Right.
Because I'm not heavily invested in
Yeah.
those.
Most people aren't. Yeah.
What I'm more concerned about is the value of my house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my interest rates,
Mm-hmm.
as it relates to debt and savings and whatever money we're trying to accumulate.
Yeah.
Those are things that I'm affected by.
Yeah.
But the legions of poor people, working people that are following him blindly and saying the economy's doing better, they ain't got no stocks.
No stocks. And they say the jobs are getting better, but they're not talking about the types of jobs that are available.
People have to have two of those jobs.
Two
you're
of
talking
them,
about.
right? Basically, yes. So when he say companies have a hard time hiring people, it's because they're having a hard time hiring somebody for $750, $850
There
an
you
hour.
go. There you go.
You know, and look, any adult, that's hard to live off
And the
of.
government doesn't want to raise the minimum because the corporations are not going to like that because it's going to cut into. But you got these people that are ill-informed. I almost said something. Ill-informed
Yeah.
that are believing this whole when the ship rises, all of us rise at the same time.
Yeah. No.
But not the same way.
Not the same
and
way.
you can be on the, watch this. If I'm on the boat and I'm in a cabin at the bottom of the boat, whether it's risen or not, I'm still on the bottom.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, come on. This,
Yeah.
I watched somebody the other day on TV. His economy's doing well. You could obviously see the woman was poor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're doing much better. How are we doing better?
Right. Yeah, what? What?
Walmart added 5 more jobs.
Right. And you got an extra $5 in your check, and but again, it represents that's the one thing that gets me right. So,
When did $5 for a family of 4 make a difference? What?
For a family of many.
$5?
yeah.
I mean, they're grasping for straws, man.
Right. They are.
Who are you going to tell?
Yeah.
Doc, guess what happened?
Yeah. All right. I got extra.
What, man?
$5.
I got
$5
$5 extra dollars in my net pay.
Right.
What you going to do, man?
Mhm.
What you going to do with it? How we going to celebrate?
Right. Go spend it.
I'll buy you a Coke.
Coat?
Mm-hmm. In their mind, this is what.
You got to go to 5 and below
Yes.
to celebrate. And you might not be able to buy
Right.
half the stuff.
Because with tax, yeah, with Dollar Tree, yeah.
Dollar Tree, maybe.
But
Wait, is Dollar Tree
This-
stuff that's really $1?
Yeah.
They have
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
that's
Well,
$1.
They all of them charging to
But
change.
this is where two things right about that. Since the recession,
Yeah,
more dollar stores have opened up,
right.
urban and poor communities,
Absolutely.
and most people go grocery shopping there.
In the Dollar Tree.
In the dollar store. Now, problem with that, of course, is all the food they're getting from there isn't necessarily healthy for them,
Absolutely
thus
not.
increasing their medical issues.
Absolutely.
Because the only thing they can afford is stuff from the
Absolutely.
dollar store and et
It's
cetera, so on.
off-brand. It's old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Children's toys have lead in
yeah, all that stuff.
It's terrible.
The other thing is this: they still have this belief. Now, it is possible, and it is totally true for this to happen,
Okay.
that Trump represents the ability to get ahead, and that one day, I know I'm poor today, but that could be me, because Trump represents the regular man. The regular
Never
man.
been regular.
I know. We know that. But they keep forgetting that capitalism requires working class poor people to be successful.
Absolutely.
Somebody has to be at the bottom.
Absolutely.
But in their mind, this is America, and if you're not succeeding,
Even though they're not living the dream at the time, I'm back to the racial vote
Yep.
is not logical.
mm-hmm, yeah,
This thing is not logical.
not at all. Not one bit.
And here's the other part that blows my mind. So I got $5 extra in my paycheck, but for the first time in 25 years, I got to pay $3,000 to the IRS for my tax return for the first time in 20-some years.
Yep.
That's what they're saying.
Yep.
I paid $2,000. I paid $3,000. And this whole, well, we have to sacrifice so things can get better. Not for you.
Right, because you're not doing the sacrificing. That's my problem. It's easy for y'all to say, y'all hold on, when I'm okay,
But
and
the-
they're paying the price.
But the ones holding on are saying this too.
well, some of them are. Yeah, a couple farmers turned on them.
Well, they should have.
They all should have.
But not just the farmers. We got to sacrifice so we can do better. The we doing better is not the people
Yep.
that are poor that are sacrificing. You're going to stay poor
Yep.
unless somebody starts looking out for you.
Mm-hmm.
And this administration is not looking out for working people. I've said it for the last 56 years.
Yep.
Republicans do not generally favor working people.
That's right.
They favor corporations.
Absolutely.
And watch the dichotomy. They favor the corporations, not even the workers in the
Right.
corporation.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Tell me you're gonna rate, give me $5 more on my check,
Right.
and then I go file my taxes, and I got to
Yeah.
pay the government $3,000 because you got it fixed that this thing's gonna help me when it really costs me more money.
Absolutely.
But the racial vote finds a way to be okay with that.
Yep. Yep. What did Lyndon Johnson say? He said if you make the poor white, I'm paraphrasing here, you make the poor white person feel superior than the black person, you can rob him pockets all the time.
Absolutely.
If you make them feel superior,
You can take from
continue
them
to take from them
Yes.
every single time.
because the need to feel superior is far greater than the actual experience with income. That thing when we were young, the defensive statement for my white friends were, "I'm free, white, and 21." That was their mantra.
Yeah.
And when they were saying that, they were looking at us like y'all are not free, white, and 21. So even if you have degrees, we're still superior to you.
Right.
And that was my upbringing.
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
I was around, and some people, some blacks and some whites, don't know about this. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know about the own complexion prejudice that was perpetuated among our own people.
Yeah.
There was a time when darker complected people were not considered attractive. You had to be light skinned
Yep.
to be considered attractive. Even if you weren't attractive, the fact that you had light skin made you attractive.
Yeah. The more European you looked, the better.
Yep.
The more African you looked,
Worse you
nose, lips, hip, everything,
Bad hair.
and we bought into it.
Bad hair versus good hair.
Yep. And bought into it.
All the time.
But it's interesting. I heard somebody say this. I'm gonna research it to see if it's
Okay.
true. That it makes sense to a certain degree. That a lot of these movements, they had psychologists
Oh,
talk to
absolutely.
them about.
Oh, no, it's
Hitler
absolutely.
had a psychologist. This is how you do it.
Oh, yeah.
The slave owners, wrong but genius, make a bunch of poor white people work the fields and be the masters outside.
That's right.
They're still poor, but hey, at least they're not.
I'm superior. You live in a shack, I'm living in a shack,
yeah.
but I got the whip.
There you
So
go. Yep. I ain't got no money.
I don't understand my former slave.
Right.
I understand
right.
yours, but I don't understand
Yeah,
mine.
my form.
Okay.
Genius. Just-
People cannot be accused of not thinking.
Nope. There's too much education out there.
Well, we talked about it before. The whole religious right movement, abortion was not their big issue. Segregation was the issue.
Yep.
But the only way we can get the people to join us is talk about the abortion issue. So that conservative movement within the evangelical church wasn't about people.
Yep.
It was about finding a platform that they could agree on.
Yep.
And underneath the underbelly of that was separation.
Yep.
That's why Bob Jones University was so popular in the South.
Yeah.
It must have been traumatic for the back of Bob Jones to be laid right up against Carpenter's church.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Oh man, it was. I mean, they ran up against each other.
Okay.
So literally the properties faced one. I mean, were touching each other. They were adjacent.
Okay.
And for what Carpenter's church redemption represented versus what Bob Jones represented, those kids were not even allowed to walk across campus together.
Oh wow.
Then you got a church where blacks and whites are fellowshipping and worshiping together.
Yeah.
Literally joined at the hip.
Okay.
Must have been traumatic.
Yeah.
So let's go to Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan, how you doing?
Yes, good morning. Good to talk to you.
Come on, get in on this thing.
Well, my big overall response to most of what you said today about Trump and the Republicans and everything is I hear a whole different side when I listen to conservative radio.
Of course.
And I hear, well, it's not just a different side, it's answers to all the things almost all the things you've been saying. But I never hear that on...
What kind of answers?
One of the big things, I can't relate this well, and I really wanted to discuss something at Daniel 7:4, but I'll leave that for another time, I guess.
Okay.
Is you first started out as how can so many of these people that have a strong Christian faith still like Trump because of all his immoral failures?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer I heard somebody discuss was that there's been a lot of people frustrated with the whole government for a long time, way back since the Tea Party.
Okay.
And they see Trump as somebody who's going in and upsetting the standard establishment, like the Horowitz report, all the irregularities that all happened, the 17 wrong actions that happened all against him, and so many things that the deep state has been doing and the establishment has been doing.
John, let me ask you a question, because here's the problem, and I'm glad you brought it up the way you did. You raised the question and then you offered the explanation, right?
Okay.
All right, now you raised a very specific question based on a concern that you thought you heard. The problem is the kind of answer you're getting. you're giving, because the answer you're giving does not address the immorality.
Well, true, but what they're
So,
saying.
wait a minute. So if you're not, if you're going to answer me with a question, with an answer that doesn't address my question, how is that giving me the answer you think I need to hear?
Well, you're saying that the immorality is the main issue for a president, and what?
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
Of how they can support. Your main question was, how can they support a president who is so immoral?
Right.
And their answer is,
Right.
we don't elect a president. Our main problem in having a president is to run the country and control the main things of our lives that are in our interest.
Okay, now let me ask you a
And
question,
yes,
John. Let me ask you a
yeah.
question. Let me ask you a question now. So I'm hearing you completely. So since our president does this, it's going to allow us to do it. Do you think?
No.
Okay.
I don't agree with that.
Wait a minute. Let me ask the question first. You said no before I asked the question. Do you think that these same qualities accepted by the evangelicals now with this president would be acceptable with our previous president? Tell me yes or no, Doc. Tell me yes or no.
Say again. I'm not
Tell me,
sure what I'm supposed to ask this.
tell me yes or no, Jonathan.
What was the question again?
Would the qualities that our present president is exhibiting, all the way from asking foreign governments to involve themselves in our election on national TV, on tape, down to the immorality stuff. First off, you didn't answer the question. You went off on some other stuff, deep state, all this other stuff. Had nothing to do with the morality question that I asked you. What I'm asking you now is that since our president compares himself to the previous president all the time, do you think that his behavior would have been acceptable from Barack Obama by the Republicans?
By the Republicans. Well, the Republicans would have criticized Obama for any infraction, but the media wouldn't have covered it.
That's not true.
That's not true.
That's not true.
That's not true, John.
The media wouldn't have covered.
You're
the
smart. You're
Republicans.
smarter than that, John. If they're gonna cover a beige suit, which is all he had, cover him having a bracket in his office in the White House, and cover him smoking.
Yeah, okay. There are.
That was it.
Well, there are other things about Obama's character background that have been pretty much totally covered
Because
up.
he smoked weed.
Did he smoke weed?
No, about
Did they
his,
accuse him?
homosexual activity.
Where did you hear that
come
from?
on, Doc. Come on,
Well,
Doc.
like I said, they've been totally covered up.
Come on, Doc. No, Jonathan.
Investigate.
Jonathan, you're smarter than this. You actually believe that because you heard that somewhere, it's absolutely true?
No. There's a lot of evidence
All
over the internet.
There's a lot of evidence that our president was inappropriate with women all over the world.
Oh yes, absolutely. But let me just say one thing as far as morality.
So what you saying,
Trump got
John? What you
Marla
saying?
Maples pregnant.
All right, John.
Okay.
What happened?
He divorced his wife, married her, but he did not have her have an abortion.
So that excuses all his other behavior, Jonathan?
No, but I'm just saying it doesn't excuse.
Do you hear how you're?
It's a little bit better.
John. Do you hear how you're answering the questions?
Yeah.
All right, it's
not right.
No, it's not right.
But at least it's not an abortion, which is killing somebody.
Oh my God. So you're Jonathan. You're more brilliant than this. You are. See,
I'm not smart at all.
here's the problem, Jonathan. You're doing what some of my friends do. I have some very intelligent Republican friends, extremely intelligent. Most of them are Caucasian, a few of them are African American. The problem I have is making yourself look like you don't have a brain, trying to support stuff that you know in your heart is not right. Here's the thing.
No.
Here's the thing.
I'm not supporting what's not right.
But you're excusing it.
I'm not excusing it.
What do you call
it? It's really the immoral activities.
You're giving him a pass.
Things are really bad.
You're giving him a pass.
But he's as far as the economy and the trade laws
Hey, John.
and everything like that, that is
John.
good for the country.
John, you and I both know we know each other pretty long.
He's good for the country. Okay.
Has this shift in the economy impacted you more than it's impacted me? Your own personal life, has it impacted you? Did your stocks go up?
If I had stocks.
Did your treasury bonds do better?
I don't have stocks and bonds. I'm poor.
All right. Did your real estate
now.
increase in value? What I'm saying to you is this: with the increase is still for those that have, not for those of us that don't.
Yeah, well, I did hear this, several different reports that the economy, the number of workers, new workers, were more than 250,000.
222.
In
260,
October.
266. Now, here's my problem.
In October, which is blew everybody away. And
Wait a minute now.
many
Those are those small
there's many
jobs,
more
though.
blue-collar workers
Wait a minute,
getting
John.
more-
Here's the incomplete of the report. What I don't like about these government reports is this. They'll tell you how many jobs they added, but they will not tell you how many they lost in the same period.
Well,
All
they're
it-
saying the net increase.
No, it's not a net. It's not a net. They're not reporting a net.
Well,
Because
yeah, they do report the
no,
net, but
thousands
maybe
of
not in that figure.
thousands of people. No, well, come on, man.
There's more people working now than ever.
Jonathan, you're not getting the way the government reports this thing. They tell you about the additions, but don't tell you the subtractions.
They give us subtractions.
No, Jonathan. When have you ever
Yeah,
heard
they
them?
do.
When have you ever heard them say we gained 266,000 jobs, but we lost 113,000? When have you ever heard them say that? You haven't heard a report like that because not the way.
like that.
That's not the way you spin it. It's not
They-
the way you
they
spin
do-
it.
They do give the net additions.
But never
the net-
they do addition. They say gains.
Yeah, but they
Who got
they give
jobs?
the net job increases or
Jonathan,
job losses.
Jonathan, go back and look. Next time you hear him report it, you're not going to hear what the losses were because it'll jack the figure. People are losing jobs every day, Jonathan.
But I think there's more people working than
And
not
and
working.
guess who's losing them? Poor people.
Well, it's always who loses jobs.
All right, we got to go, Doc.
Okay, bless you.
You too, man. Talk to you soon now. Bye-bye. Robin, how you doing from Delaware?
Boy, that bitch, I'm laughing at you. Talking to Jonathan.
He answered me the way they're answering this. Answer the question.
Answer the question.
About morality, not about a deep state.
But that's their reasoning.
But it doesn't address the issue.
I know. They say he can. They say he can do what he wants as long as he gives us what we want.
What are they getting though?
To them, they're getting their view of America.
John the view of America is worth more bread on the table.
Yeah, but I know that. But usually when people reference deep state and stuff like this, they're on those InfoWars sites.
Of course,
and that's all they read and listen to.
It's so silly.
And
it is.
It's so silly.
All the Republicans want is just to have a president that's Republican. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
But I know time is short. The comment that Mitch McConnell made that they was going to do all they could to make Obama one-term president, I believe that's going to come and bite them back in the behind. I can't say what I want to say on air.
Yeah.
But because I believe Trump's not going to win in 2020. It's just something that God's been speaking to me in my spirit. 2020 is for us, the Gentiles, the African American. I just feel it, but I don't think he's going to be president in 2020. And the last comment is, well, it's not a comment, just to let everyone know there was a report that came out from Uber regarding sexual assaults and rape.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to tell everybody who use Uber or is a driver, make sure your passenger sits in the back. And also, too, I'm going to make a suggestion to Uber, especially at night for women, if they can get away where they can just request a female driver instead of a male driver. So, but I just want everybody to be aware of what's going on. They're saying thousands and thousands of sexual assaults and rape.
Really?
So, Yeah, you have to read the report. So just, be careful.
Thank you,
Make
Rob.
Sure your passenger sit in the back. So
Thank
y'all have
you.
a blessed day, and
All
I'll
right.
see y'all tomorrow.
All right now.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Here's my issue. So I'm driving Uber,
Mhm.
which means they have everything on me.
Mhm.
I pick somebody up, and I mistreat them,
Mhm.
and the company I'm working for has everything on me.
Mhm.
When did people get this out of control?
I think people.
Are we so impulse driven now that I'm going to commit a crime and I know I'm going to be caught within 24 hours?
Yeah. And I think for some of them, it's their word against mine.
Mm-hmm.
So I would never do this, but say you walk up to somebody, slap them on the butt, and just keep on moving. There's no video, there's no recording, there's no nothing.
So you think?
It's just let's speak in generalities. Like if you're in a car with somebody, they don't have a car, they don't have a camera in the car, or you say something inappropriate. Not saying that some people feel like
They're talking about assaults, not insults.
No, assaults, and it's like a whole report of all of them: assaults, verbal, and touching, and those things.
Okay.
So
You know what's going to happen.
Mm.
They're going to pick somebody up.
Mm.
Somebody going to grab somebody.
Mm.
And the Uber driver's going to get shot.
probably, yeah.
These ladies are not going to keep walking around
Mm-mm.
going in these. Here's my problem. I guess Uber was a wonderful capitalist idea.
Mm.
I'm a grown man, can fight, will fight. I'm not calling the Uber.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't know who's picking you
Yeah,
up.
but to them, that's this generation's the new thing. So, but here again, to me, it's like if you have those proclivities, people find certain outlets to
Absolutely.
express those
Absolutely.
proclivities. And if you're that driven by that proclivity, sometimes the logic
People
goes.
are going to start protecting themselves.
Yeah. So it's sometimes the driver, sometimes it's the ride share too. So they pick up multiple people, and sometimes it's the not the driver, but somebody that's sitting with the person that does it. So to me, it's just I don't trust it. I would never, for the most part. I did it one time with somebody.
Okay.
It was me and another individual, and somebody picked us up, took us back.
Okay.
But that was like a need-based thing.
Okay.
But I don't.
I'd be hard pressed. I'm calling somebody I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come get me.
Right.
I can't get there for
Yeah.
hours. Okay, I'll find a
Yeah.
comfortable place to sit. You come get me.
It's the new taxi now, so it's just
It's too risky. I think the whole nighttime thing.
yeah.
You don't know who's picking you up. I know some instances where people have gotten into one and the car's reeking with marijuana
Yeah,
and just
music, everything. Yeah.
And this person I know is a business person in Atlanta.
Mhm.
The limo driver that picked me up was telling me about it. So the lady immediately jumped out of the car because she realized this guy's high.
Yeah.
She don't know what he's going to.
Mhm.
And she got out.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of those, oh, it'll be okay things.
Mm-mm.
She immediately got out, said, that's okay, you go ahead and do your thing.
Yeah. It's just risky overall.
I don't like it.
Yeah, and I think they said the reports went up from last year to this year, went way up. The question is, what are they doing to these people who have the accusations? If I'm a business owner,
Right.
That's one of those things where you can't ride for a while, or till we research this.
That's right.
Or you just done in general.
Yeah.
Because now their stocks are being hit, but it's such a used business now.
Oh, yeah.
That, of course, like anything, if you're popping, they're going to excuse some stuff because the money just keeps rolling in. And I don't think that's the right thing to do, but it's just, how.
I think the cab companies are about to see a resurgence in their business.
Isn't that the same thing?
No.
You don't know who you're riding?
No. Yellow cab comes, the driver is identified.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot more involved than me or you deciding to use our car to take people around.
Yeah.
We should have called Bishop Anthony this morning.
Yeah. About his cheat treats. We can talk about it.
Not only did the Patriots get beat, but they were caught cheating again.
But but he doesn't mind that. He's like a Trump supporter.
He's a Trump patriot.
Yeah, he's like he says as long as we're winning, he doesn't care how they win. That's his thought process.
He's a pastor.
As long as they win, he doesn't care.
He's a pastor.
He's like, so what?
He doesn't care about cheating.
No, as long as his team wins, he don't care.
Okay, as long as they get
As
the
long
ring,
as they get the ring.
he doesn't care.
He don't care.
Pastor Bishop
He is a Trump. He's like a Trump supporter. As long as he gets what I
Belichick
want.
can run out and shoot somebody.
Yeah, and he still go support him.
This has been On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show. We've been having fun all morning. In America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. David G. Evans 1 on any smart device. My world-famous co-host, Reverend Nicholas Smith, for the crack team that we have here. Come on and worship with us tomorrow at Bethany in Lindenwold, New Jersey. Toy Drive is 10 o'clock.
10 a.m. Yep.
Lindenwold High School, it begins. Don't wait. Don't stay in bed. Bring your children down early. Get in line. Stand there and wait, or you're going to miss this opportunity.
Yeah.
All right? So just come. We're coming from all over the community. We've got plenty of stuff, but you got to get there. It's not going to last more than 2 and a half, 3 hours maybe at the most.
At the most, yeah.
So we got one location. We're not in 9 like we did for the feeding and the homeless stuff. We got one location, Lindenwold High School, Lindenwold, New Jersey, 08021. 08021. These numbers are starting to leave me. Stay strong. Stay saved. Remember this, faith acts like a thing is, so even when it's not, so that it might be. So God bless you. See you next week on Point.